Good evening. Hope you're all doing well. Welcome to the debrief from West Ham 0 Spurs 3. Usually it's done the day after the game. I couldn't be arsed. I woke up yesterday. I thought, I can't be bothered. I'm in a good mood. I'm not doing it. If I sit down and discuss West Ham, I'm going to get annoyed. I'm going to get pissed off because I was still angry and upset about that game against Tottenham. So I ignored it yesterday. Had my third day off of the year. And I felt good for it last night. I felt good. I woke up. I'm actually still in a good mood today. Possibly because of that day, or possibly because of the night out on Saturday. But regardless, I've been in a good mood, been effective at work, got stuff done today as well. So I'm good. How are you? Let me know in the live chat. And this is a show where the Hammer Chat subscribers have their say. We'll get your comments up on the screen over the next 25 minutes or so. So any West Ham thoughts you've got, get them into the live chat. You're watching this a little bit later on Monday through to Tuesday, maybe even Wednesday. Do get involved in the comments below. As always, if you're new to Hammer's Chat and you like what you see, please do subscribe. If you do not enjoy the content, though, do not subscribe. And I'm not being petty. Life is short. Use your time to do things you enjoy. So if you don't like the videos, go to the channels you do enjoy. Use your time wisely. Anyway, Kieran McKenna, West Ham. yeah, right. I can't even keep a straight face. I seen the report earlier. Apparently, now this is what the report said. This isn't. I'm not claiming this. I'm going to claim the opposite. I'm claiming the report is nonsense. But we discuss what's going on in the media and in the world of West Ham on this channel, and this is what's being reported. Don't believe me? Google it. Apparently, Kieran McKenna was at the game on Saturday. He was being wooed by the West Ham board, schmoozed by Karen Brady, perhaps. No one got a photograph. No one seen him. One person seen him. The reporter of a not very good source when it comes to football, but apparently that's the rumours. It's not the first time we've been linked to Kieran McKenna. Of course, we were linked to him a couple of years ago when Moyes was on his way out and he was being linked to West Ham because obviously he was the hot stuff at the time, weren't he? Got Ipswich promoted to the Championship, then obviously got them promoted again, but that part hadn't happened yet. But he was impressing as a young coach and we were linked to him. I like him. I like Kieran McKenna. I think I'm going to discuss that hypothetically for a couple of minutes while comments start coming into the live chat, and then I'll see what people say. And by the way, there's a poll in the live chat. I don't normally do them now because the software we use, you can't do them, but I've gone on to YouTube to prep it for the video because I'm in a good mood, right? There's a poll in the live chat. Potter. And there's three options. In, you wouldn't sack him. Out, you would sack him today. And then not arsed, which is where I find myself, which is ultimately you're just not that bothered for whatever reason. I think there's a few different reasons as to why you could find yourself in a not arsed category. And the reason I'm in the not arsed category is just because of the board of West Ham. I just don't trust them. So I'm a bit like, what's the point? The next guy will come in, probably won't be that good because of them, lack of ambition, lack of pull, and then what? I feel like you just go around in circles, don't we? So I'm in the not ours category, but let me know what category you're in. And at the end of the show, we'll have a look and see what the poll is saying. In regards to Kieran McKenna, I like him. I like him a lot. Let's do the good. Tactically, I think he's a good manager in terms of playing attractive football. I like his ethos. I like his philosophy as a manager. I think he's done incredible at Ipswich Town. And I think sometimes he gets the best out of his players. Not all of them, but most of them, he gets the best out of them. The bad side about him, though, I think I'm not sure about him defensively. And that's, you know, if our issue is defensive, I'm not so sure he'd be the guy that would come in and solve the problems that we're currently having under Graham Potter. I think we would maybe be a little bit better than under Potter, but I don't think that much would change under Kieran McKenna, if I'm honest with you. I'll say it. I'll say it. I was disappointed by Ipswich last season. I thought they could come up and have a chance of staying up, and they didn't lay a glove on us. Now, it could be the gulf between the Championship and the Premier League is just too much, but there was a lot of games I watched Ipswich last season. I thought they were underwhelming, and at the end of the day, he had a top striker in Liam Delap at that club. They brought in some really good players, had some of the best sort of wingers from the Championship like Jack Clark, and they got Philogene towards in January transfer window. They signed Philogene, who scored a fantastic hat-trick on Friday night. I watched him on Friday. I watched him before he obviously got on the train down to London for the West Ham game, but good win against Sheffield United. But my word, that was enjoyable. Sheffield United players just walking around. He's been sacked now. Chris Wilder's back there for a third stint. When you talk about the West Ham manager made a good run, imagine me Sheffield United. Wilder comes in, does well, sack him, get someone else in, does crap, sack him, get Wilder back. He goes, get someone else in, he does crap, sack him, Wilder comes back. Well, because Wilder FC, he is Sheffield United, though, isn't he? But they were horrific on Friday night. Ipswich played some good football. They played some good stuff. So, do I like Kieran McKenna? Yes. Do I think he's the right man for the job? No, I don't think so. I don't think he'd be the right man for the job. Right then, time for the old live chat. First of all, I just want to kick off by saying thank you to David, saying thanks for keeping me sane when it comes to the spinal tap of a football club. David, thank you for your support here, and thank you for your support on Tart and Geo. David, you regularly pop up on my other YouTube channel. I appreciate you. Todd said McKenna would be good, plays good football, and his team's closed down well. Chris saying Nuno doesn't stay long, so Mourinho for him. I don't think Mourinho stays long either. That's your only reason for not going after Nuno. I think you can apply the same reason to Mourinho personally. Avid said the one thing going in our favour as fans is that the board are feeling the pressure, so that may push them to make a decent appointment this time, or at least one can hope. See, well, that's the thing, isn't it? If they were to go pay to get a manager out of a contract, they could point to it and say, look, we're listening, we're changing, we're trying to do better. There'd be a bit of evidence, not that you believe them or trust them, but there'd be something for them to point at and say, we don't usually do this, but because of you and because we care and because we're listening, we've changed. Just to be clear, that is what I think they would say, not what I would say. Alfonso would like Scott Parker. PCT said very respectable at a distant glance of Ipswich, and he seemed to be more than suitable for Premier League pressure, but simply didn't have the quality and execution from this squad. Alex saying Sullivan won't point Mourinho. John saying Sullivan won't sack Potter when we get relegated. Not beforehand. I disagree. People said that about Lopetegui, didn't they? And well, they were wrong. We sacked him. Scott saying he's quite stubborn. We saw that last year with Ipswich Town in the Premier League. He would play the same way no matter what the opposition. I think he cost them Premier League status. I'm not so sure they would have stayed up, but I agree. I think you look at Burnley and how they're playing at the minute, and I don't know if Burnley will stay up. I don't think they will. But I think they're approaching it the right way, whereas Ipswich, I think, were perhaps a little bit naive, coming up and trying to play nice football and essentially just got ripped apart by teams better than them. Alex would like Craig Bellamy. I think he'd be maybe realistically, I don't think he is realistic though. I don't know. If he was, then yeah, I'm all. I really like Craig Bellamy as a manager. By the way, I've made it clear in the past. I just don't know if he would leave the Welsh job to come to us. Todd saying, what about Bielsa? I seen he was at a game at the weekend. I don't know what one. But I seen he was at a match anyway. I don't know what he's up to. Is he in Uruguay at the minute, or is he back in Argentina? For some reason, I think he might be coaching in Uruguay. I don't know. Digger saying Lee Carsley. Again, I'd be happy with Lee Carsley. I really like the way that England under 21s play. It's just whether it's realistic or not, I don't think it is. I'm just not sure we are going to be that attractive to a lot of managers at the minute. I just think if we try and go get a good one, I'm not sure how many would be willing to leave a really good job to come to West Ham. I think the unemployed ones, certainly, because they're out of work. But in terms of those in employment, I'll be honest with you, when I seen us linked to Kieran McKenna, I thought, I'm not even convinced he would leave Ipswich to come to us. I'm not convinced. He might do, but he might look at it and think, well, actually, the Ipswich job or the West Ham job, I've got more chance being in the Premier League next season with Ipswich. We may disagree, but that might be his mentality. Plus, because I think Ipswich have stuck with him, I think he might be keen to stay there. He was linked to someone last summer, McKenna. Was it the Chelsea job? And he decided to stay with Ipswich. So I don't know. I don't see us getting McKenna. We'll have to wait and see. Stoner saying almost every manager in the last 10 has been a swing from countering to possession. This is the issue. I do agree with that. You end up with that Frankenstein squad, and then it doesn't work, does it? So the new guy comes in and needs to change it, and then you get rid of him, and the new guy comes in and needs to change it, and you're just constantly spending a lot of money to move on players who are worth less than they are when we first signed them. Avid saying at least Cooper got a job. He has. He's at Bromby. We all know how much Sullivan rates him. Hammer 99 would love Ralph Hasenhüttl. Feel like he'll get the best out of Ward Prowse and Kyle Walker-Peters. Yeah. I know you, and I know that's the rod has been cast. Cookie saying we're listening, buying out a McKenna, the cheapest option, not Marco Silva. I mean, would Silva come? I'm not so sure. I think he would come? I just don't see why he would leave Fulham. Saying that, it doesn't feel cozy between him and Fulham, does it? I think he felt a bit let down in the transfer market. Alan said, I completely understand my comment regarding we can't trust the board to make the right managerial appointment, but I genuinely believe we have sufficient talent to be doing better than we are. See, I agree with that, though, by the way, Alan. We're in agreement. Both saying McKenna was linked to Brighton last summer. Hammer Boy says the biggest issue is I just can't be optimistic about any manager. How does it even change? Nuno would just be that Moyes style. So what's the point in trying to change? What I would say, Hammer Boy, I'm implying to this, I'll leave it up on the screen. I think the difference between the club is in a completely different set of circumstances post-Moyes as they are today. I think post-Moyes, we were an attractive club for managers. I think people would have looked at us and said, oh, hello, 6th, 7th, 14th in a trophy, 9th. That's good progress. Now, we didn't know this as fans, but the board would have known they were away to spend 140 million in the summer transfer window. So they were able to go to the next manager and say, look, come to West Ham. We've got all this. This is how good we are. We're away to spend 140 million. We've got a technical director here in Tim Steiden. He's going to get you the players you want, which he did do with Lopetegui. He went and got Max Kilman. I think that would have been attractive for a lot of managers. I think the problem was we just stuffed that appointment up big time. And that's the summer we should have been ambitious. That's the summer we should have went to Fulham for Silva, Brentford for Frank, Bournemouth for Areola. We should have went after one of those then and paid whatever we had to get them out if they would have come to West Ham. But I think they might have done or would have done. Whereas now, I just don't see it. I just don't see how we could go to Fulham and Marco Silva is going to go, oh, yeah, the West Ham job, I'll have a bit of that. I think he'll go, no, thank you. I'm going to stay where I am. I'm better off at Fulham. So the set of circumstances, Hammer Boy, is when we tried to move on from Moyes, I think we had a good foundation to bring in a manager to deliver that, the style. I don't think we have that now. I think because of the circumstances we're in, we are looking for a manager essentially, first and foremost, to keep us in the Premier League. I think you could have a conversation around style 2 years ago. I don't think you can now. I think the conversations around who's adequate, who can get the best out of the squad and keep us up. I think that's the conversation we're having. So I think that's why there's a significant difference. And I think that's why some, not all, I've seen a lot of people very anti-Nuno, and I completely understand it. I completely get it. Maybe next time we'll do like a poll about Nuno or something like that. Hammer Boy then says, does any manager actually turn this around? Is a question I genuinely have no answer for. It's a total mess. Danny said, I'm Potter out, but at what stage do we blame the players? Just want people to play for the badge. I take Mourinho to boot them all up the arse. Dan saying, more Sullivan fuzzy logic. Only employ out-of-work managers to avoid paying compensation, sack them early, and end up paying severance. Man, yeah, I mean, welcome to David Sullivan, isn't it? It's just crazy when you think about the amount of money we've spent on Potter and Lopetegui, including that sacking. We'd probably be, better off going in. I'd imagine if, say, hypothetically, we paid 5-6 million, get Areola out of Bournemouth, what we spent on Lopetegui and Potter to date, it might cost a couple million more to go get Areola, but it would have been much more because of that sacking. Like you said, it's David Sullivan math. Ask VK who would I want and why. To be fair, I don't know. I don't really have an answer. It's because the reason I don't have an answer, Ask VK, is because I don't believe we can attract half these managers. When people want Silva and Bellamy, I'd say yes to both of those. I'm just not sure we'd get them. to be honest with you. And that's kind of why I'm in the Potter and Natars category. I just don't think we're a very attractive club right now. Stuart would like Fabregas. I completely understand why. I think he's looks like an incredible young coach. Again, no, I just don't see it. Am I in the wrong here? I feel like I'm really pissing on everyone's firework. Everyone's suggesting people. I'm just sitting here going, no. And I feel bad, but just don't believe that we could get someone like Cesc Fabregas. I don't believe at all we could get him. So am I just too grumpy? Well, I don't even feel grumpy. I actually I'm in a good mood. Am I just too negative? Let me know in the chat. Am I being too unrealistic? In the sense that I don't think we could attract a lot of the managers that have been mentioned, Bellamy, Silva, Fabregas. I don't think we could attract them today. We're not talking about back then. Today, am I just too far gone, or am I being realistic? I think Fabregas is on for like, I don't know, the Barcelona job or something. He just has to stay at Como for another year, keep doing what he's doing. I think he'll get a top job in football. Jimmy, would you have taken Chris Wilder? No. There's something, I don't know why. There's something about him that irritates me, but no. Leto said Silva might be earmarked for the next one in at Nottingham Forest when things do not work out this season. Dan said he would like Areola if he could pick anyone. Hammer99 says, I think Nuno fits the squad. Big centre-backs capable of playing in a low block. I'm sure we've got a midfielder like Anderson pass forward, but as a three, Bowen, Paqueta and Somerville would be brutal. I'm not so sure about the centre-backs and a low block thing. I don't think the Kilman's impressed a little bit. I just don't trust him enough. We'll see, though. I think they'd be better organising what we're doing at the minute, but we'll see. RC says, not a fan of sacking managers, but this is dire. A relegation if we don't change something by Christmas. Hammer 84 is saying Michael Carrick with Kevin Nolan as backup. So I'm saying, not sure about your take, but I'm more than happy to appoint a defensive manager who keep us up. Premier League status is essential. I can understand. I agree, because at the minute my concern is that when I was speaking to a couple of subscribers earlier about Nuno, I said I think he'd come in, I think we'd stay up comfortably, but I think we would need a new manager in the summer 2027. I think it'd be a very short-term thing before he started playing up, which he's done at his previous clubs. And also, I think there would be complaints about his style of football as well. So I think people would put up with it for this season because of the mess we're in. But next season, I think it would irritate everyone. Summer 2027, I think we'd be looking for a new manager. Andy's saying we need to poach a manager from the English League tier, someone with promise, not necessarily proven at the top level, but one that hasn't been exposed as previously failed. Unexposed. Risky, but I understand why you want that risk. Hammer 99 says Nuno got Forest to within a few points of Champions League and took Wolves from Championship to 7, similar to Moyes stylistically, but that's what I'd like. Peter saying we are poor all over the pitch and don't have a decent centre-back. A striker who scores goals, stays fit. Still plenty of deadwood. Hammer Boy saying he agrees regarding the circumstances of the club. The missed opportunity and failed attempts at progress is what upsets me the most. We're basically having to restart the process. Possibly, yeah. I think so. Paul saying Thiago Motta did well, but wasn't great at Juve, but he plays attacking football. I've seen a lot of people want him. I haven't seen him. I've heard about him. I've heard a lot of good things about him, but I haven't watched Italian football really until last season, and even then, I'm more watching Napoli rather than Italian football. So. Yeah, let me know about Thiago Motta. I'm aware he's unemployed, which is obviously boosts him up the can we get him list. Anyway, Glenn thinks I'm bang on. Ross and Stephen agree. Okay, so it's not just me, right? That's all right. It's not just me. I was starting to think I was just a bit too negative, that I don't think we can attract the better ones, really. I think we're in a pool of unemployed managers. Harry said Fabregas would be a risk, but can't see him being any worse than Ward-Prowse. Brilliant. Brilliant. I like it, Harry. 9 out of 10, that one. That's a strong one for myself. Thank you, Ross, for the £2 super chat and the support. Ross says, Dyche inbound. They will wait until after the protest. It doesn't seem having long, to be fair. Potter, if we lose on Saturday against Palace. It's going to be difficult, especially with Arsenal and Everton up ahead. 2 tough games as well. Right, before we continue with the live chat, keep your comments coming in. Just one point direction of my own YouTube channel. It's called Tartan Geo, where I speak about the Premier League mainly, not just West Ham, other teams as well. I did a Premier League weekend review defending Burnley. I don't like the criticism that Burnley have come in for in the last 24 hours. Arne Slot is one of them in particular, moaning about Burnley. So I've been defending Burnley in that video and praising Man City. Haaland, I thought he looked really good at the weekend. Anyway, it's called Tartan Geo. If you have subscribed, a massive thank you. I've got a good West Ham following over there. Good Nottingham Forest following too. But if you haven't, and you think, oh, I'd like to listen to this Scotsman chat nonsense about Premier League teams other than West Ham, then do go give it a subscribe. I would appreciate it. Simon saying, how did Palace identify and attract Glasner? To be fair, I don't think you need to identify him. I think he won the Europa League with Frankfurt. I wanted him. He was the one that I wanted before he went to Crystal Palace. But attract him. The thing I will say about not just West Ham, just teams in the Premier League, it's a very attractive league to manage in because the wages we can pay managers and players is huge. We can offer to pay managers double, treble what they're on in their current league. So I would imagine, I'm just guessing here, I could be wrong, but if you said to me, where did Glasner earn more money, Crystal Palace or Frankfurt? I would say Crystal Palace. Now, I could be wrong, but I would expect it to be Crystal Palace. So while I'm poo-pooing us attracting names, some of them are already in England, though. You know, Marco Silva will already have good wages. Plus, he'd turn down Saudi. He's not here for money. He's here for football, right? Silva was after money. He could have went to Saudi, and I think he was getting offered something stupid. It was like ridiculous money. I think it was 10 million a year or something. Marco Silva got offered, and he rejected it to stay at Fulham, or rejected it to not move to Saudi, rather. So I think, can we attract people like Glasner out of work? Yeah, I think so. That's why Thiago Motta, I don't know if that's realistic or not. I'm not going to dismiss that one. I don't know enough. But if he's out of work, and we've got a big wage incentive there, I'd imagine you would appeal to a lot of people. But we'll let me know. Keep popping your comments in. William said, wanted desperately for Potter to succeed, but like Moyes' love affair with Souček, last time midfield week, Potter's doing the same word Prowse. It's clear as day. It is not working. Avid said, go subscribe to Tartan Geo, the best unbiased football podcast on YouTube. And he's not just saying that as a Hamish Chat fan. I am actually biased, to be fair. I am biased. I don't like Man U. I'm biased against Man United. Apart from that, I like to think I'm unbiased. I talk more about the other 14 than I do about the big 6. Dan saying, if we lose to Palace, Potter gets sacked, but the protests still happen. The media will no doubt the issues run far deeper than the manager. Black Country said, Weiss morning tea's done, got to go, stomach rumbling. Catch you later. Good. I hope you enjoy your tea. I've got to go in 5 minutes, only because it's Grace's bedtime. So I got this scowl when I said I was going live at 6. Sean says 23% want him in or don't care. Give your head a wobble. Oh, hang on a minute. I'm wobbling my head. I hope the other 23% are wobbling their head too. Disney now. Jamie said the only way to fix the club is bringing seats closer to the pitch. Do we become the 12th man? It's a no atmosphere, no link from fan to team. Needs fixing before we become a free falling through the division. I do not disagree with that one. I haven't been for a little while, though, so I can't complain too much. I haven't been since nearly a year now. October was the last game I went to. But then I got married, had a baby, and now we're trying to buy a house. So the reason I haven't been is financial. But it does also coincide with not really having much desire to go. I can't really afford it. It's just not really a conversation. Well, it's not, can't really afford it. I just can't afford it. We're in the process of trying to buy a house. But yeah, it's never really been my thing, the stadium. I'm not keen on. I seen a video the other day, this morning, and it was a West Ham fan that had taken it. It was of this at 3-0. The stadium was emptying out, and they just turned around, and you could see the bit. Now I don't often see the bit of the back. My seats are down Sir Trev's end. So for those watching on TV, Sir Trevor Brooken's on the right, where the away fans are. That's a Sir Trevor Brooken stand behind that goal there. So I'm in the middle of Sir Trev and Billy Bonds, right? The other side, which is Bobby Moore. Above the lower tier, there's like a platform, and there's like a Heineken bar there. Or it used to be Heineken, not sure what it is now. Is it Brewdog? I don't know. A bar there, and I've seen it on the footage. Oh my God, it looks tacky. It just looks like a cheap pub garden. Do you know the pub gardens? Listen, pub gardens are good, right? But there's two versions of pub garden. Let's have this honest conversation. There's two versions. Version one, there's grass, maybe a bit of water, picnic tables, whatever, nice patio. Right, that's the good version. Version two, I kid you not, there's a pub not far from here that has a beer garden. It's picnic tables on tarmac. Right, that's what it is. It's not really a beer garden. It's a beer car park, right? There's literally parking spaces next to the picnic tables. Anyway, the bit at West Ham, it looks like version 2. It just looks tacky. It's got like AstroTurf with picnic tables on top of it. It's just, I saw it and I thought, oh, bloody hell, like, because I don't really see that area. Anyway, Simon saying a caretaker manager is a better way forward until next summer when a wider pool to choose from. Maybe Alan Pardew. To be fair, I don't think Simon's chatting nonsense there about a caretaker manager. Charles says, cannot forgive the zonal marking. Ross said, I genuinely feel like we are going down. We neither backed Moyes nor Scarf Man. How can an owner appoint a manager they don't rate? We're a toilet club in a toilet-shaped ground. George says Moyes was 5th at Christmas and we showed no ambition to push on and flogged the same 11. Infinitely said it doesn't matter who we get. Sullivan is the problem. Charles said, what does this top fan stuff mean? Now, for anyone watching that's not West Ham fan, it's the more you comment in the chat. I think YouTube have changed stuff to encourage people to speak in the live chat. And I don't know, you get like a little crown or something, don't you? Anyway, right, while we're here, as we're coming to the end, let me have a little look at this poll. I did a poll at the very start. It's just refreshing. 815 votes. 76% of people want Potter out. 7% of people want Potter to keep his job. And 17% of people aren't arsed. They're not that bothered. Connor saying the video that I did earlier was in the top 100 hype chart. Yes, thank you. Thank you. Thank you to you lot. Hype. New to me. Still not really sure what it is. Well, I've understood now. But the patrons messaged us and said, what's hyping? Well, I don't know. Sounds good, though. Connor is a good man. Connor said, the video I did earlier today, I mentioned the hype. Was in the top 100 of the hype chart. Top 100 of the hype chart. You'll never sing that. Beautiful. Look at that. Success. No, but seriously, thank you, because it's done good views, so it definitely worked. Lewis, that's the one I'm trying to click on. This is the thing. Would an appointment change much? Them owners have killed the club. I think it can. Right. I think here's how I see it. Is Graham Potter the biggest problem at West Ham United? No. No, absolutely not. David Sullivan's biggest problem. Callum Brady's the second biggest problem. That's how I see it. So is Graham Potter the biggest problem at West Ham? No. However, is Graham Potter a problem at West Ham United? Yes. That's my summary. Short and sweet, isn't it? But that's how I feel. Do I think Graham Potter is doing a good enough job? Absolutely not. Do I think he's been backed efficiently in the transfer window? No. I don't think so. For me, we're missing a striker. and the centre back we did bring in is not good enough. That was my evaluation of the window. However, is he getting the best out of what he's got? Because if you're not being backed in the window, right, what you have to do is get the best out of what. And if you're getting the best out of the players you have available, but it's not enough to achieve our ambitions, then it's not your fault. It's the transfer window. It's down to the transfer window. But actually, both things can be true, which is that the window wasn't good enough. So I don't think he's been backed enough, but he was backed to some extent. So I think he backed enough? No. But is Graham Potter doing enough with the group of players he's got? Also no. So I think he's to blame. I don't think he's the most culpable. I don't think he deserves the biggest blame, but he's certainly not blameless. And that's my summary of the situation. I think he's a poor manager at a bad club. There you go. I'm off. Thank you. Thank you very much for joining me. I appreciate y'all, and appreciate the ones that have dropped a like on the video, that have hyped the video earlier, subscribe to the channel, subscribe to Tartan Geo. I appreciate you. I'll be back tomorrow, and I know what I'm doing tomorrow, video-wise. I'm looking forward to doing it. So I will catch up with them. But massive thank you for everybody who's participated in the live chat and gets involved in the comments before. I'll catch you in a bit.